Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Knuckle Dragger you on the man's curator. It is January 14th, a beautiful, balmy. It's really cold Tuesday night here in Wisconsin. I'll be honest with you. It just a cold front just came and smashed through. Woke up this morning and did a double take on the old digital thermostat that said 1. I was like, that's obscene.
It said what?
1. Just 1. It was so lonely. It was the loneliest number I've ever seen, Tim.
Oh, I thought you meant like you won. You woke up, you won.
No. I woke up and looked at the digital temperature and it said 1, and I said, "Oh, that's gonna bite when I walk outside." You know, not so bad. Did take a cold shower, so I was already cold. So what's a little colder?
That 1 degree is chilly. It makes your water chilly too.
Yeah. Yeah, the cold showers get colder, right? All winter. We're coming in mid-January. That was good that we started this like back in August because I gotta, I kind of it helped. It
I,
helped.
I got a 40 degrees right now here, and it's go low of 34 tonight. So,
You're in hell.
well, it's. I think the water is probably as cold because you guys have to dig a deeper ditch to make your water go through, so it doesn't
Well,
freeze.
I mean the West Coast,
Yeah. Well,
literal hell.
yeah.
You live with Satan.
Yeah, that's right. So, uh, but our water pipes are closer to the surface out here because we don't have to worry about.
Absolutely.
And
Same
so,
with Oklahoma. Oklahoma, you only got to go through and just kick the dirt off, and you can lay
right?
your pipe down. You don't get no shovel needed.
Is it 18 inches in Wisconsin?
It's 18 inches in Oklahoma. No. It's probably 4 foot here. It's way down there. You gotta trench it out. Frost line's down there. Gotta get below that.
Okay, let's do a couple disclaimers here. We offer no advice except maybe some bad advice, right? I mean, and then no investment advice. Um, just because we have to say that. But then let's talk about investments tonight. Let's talk about, I think I put a couple things on the agenda, the difference between intentions and motives, how to make money. Let's talk about some money things. But I think we should have certain key things in the show, just a couple of topics that we go over every time. One would be cigars and two would be golf, right? So, how's your golfing game going? Let's start with golf.
Uh, Tim, I have not swung a golf club. Now, I've talked a lot of golf. I've not swung a golf club in 30, maybe not 20 years.
Oh man, we got to change that.
30 years, maybe. Yeah, 30 years. 48, 48, 30 years for sure.
Can I tell you my golf story?
Yeah. Which is
So
crazy because I could get on Aaron Hills anytime I want to.
you can do what?
Get on Aaron Hills anytime I want to.
And why don't you golf?
I don't know. I don't have a good enough chiropractor.
Well, let's talk about
No,
that.
I could golf. I could get out. Adam PGA from X. I went to high school with him. We golfed on the same high school team and junior high team. We wrestled and played golf together. We ran a lot of card into the number 9 at the Guthrie, Oklahoma Golf and Country Club spawn. That's a
Sweet.
hill, boy. You get down that it's going.
Well, out at the Corvallis Club out here, I mean, there's actually some really cool golfing out here in Oregon,
do
right?
you do you golf regularly, Tim? Like, would that be something you would do if you lived in 70 degrees all the time?
I golfed every day, rain or shine, cold or whatever, up until uh, the latter part of December. Up till a year ago. I golfed every day, or what? I mean, a monsoon or something like that. But out here, um, I'll tell you the golf story. But so typically, there's a place called Twisting Tree, and it's where Oregon State has their golf matches and their practice facility. And the practice facility is pretty special. You can't really get on that as a civilian on the
Unless you
practice
know
side.
somebody.
But I mean, they've got some really nice practice, and then they have a secondary practice facility. If you have an inn with the head landscaper, whatever they call them, that
Groundskeeper.
yeah, groundskeeper, and I have a relationship with them there, primarily because I'm an early riser. So I would get up, and they have another practice facility. They have a range and everything like that, but they have a really cool. Um, it's probably got 5 or 6 holes in a super large green, and then a 75-yard. Um, and you could go further out if you want to go to 125 yards, but a circular area around it with some different terrain. So you got chip and putt right there. You can do all your putting, all your chipping from 125 yards and in. And in the summer, the sunrise is early here, right? It's up,
Right.
and the sunrises are just fantastic. You got the mountains. In Corvallis is the valley, the heart of the valley, right? Corvallis, and so we're in the valley, but the mountains surround us, and you have this double layer where the clouds in the sunrise, it looks like a mirror, of up and down. You can't tell which are mountains or which is a reflection. It's just
Okay.
beautiful. So I love getting up early anyway, and you know me, I drive my wife, who's a surgeon, and it's our time. I'm pretty much her full time driver. I rise to elevated to driver status, and I enjoy that because sometimes she's on call and traumas, orthopedic surgeon, and it can be rough or whatever, or she's waking up in the middle of the night or something, and so I just drive her for safety reasons, and plus she gets awake. We got 8 minutes to the hospital, and she wakes up, getting ready, and she doesn't worry about driving. It's amazing how stress-free life is when you don't have to drive. Now, where you are, the traffic isn't bad. Where I am, the traffic isn't bad, which leads to another story. But one of the reasons I fell in love with Corvallis, because we moved from Austin, and we had a little organic farm medical mission. I was telling you a little bit about the other day in north of Dallas. And the traffic has just gotten horrendous in both those areas. And so we were visiting different options, I'll do some name dropping from Stanford to Duke to both ends of the country, to Kansas City, where else? Florida, Brevard, or not Brevard, but what's it? Broward County, something like that. It's a busy hospital there. I think there's one, staying in Austin. And we almost didn't, this is a golf story, but it's, my rabbit trails go. We almost, we had 6 places we were going to visit, and we took the, kind of weekends to go check them out. This is during COVID. And I'd really never even, I've heard of Corvallis, but never really been, I think I flew through Portland once when they, years ago, when they were just redoing the downtown city area, walking area. And in any event, we were at a wedding out in Sonoma, and we were at a resort, for a really nice wedding, wealthy family that was doing it right. So we were staying at a resort, and I'm an early riser, right? I'll get up at 4 a.m., rain or shine, and sometimes early. We text back and forth every morning, just accountability, right? And you're 2 hours ahead of me, and so it'd be like 3:30 my time, and I get
3. Yeah.
I'm already awake. I don't respond. I don't sleep with my phone. I'm up and running around, and I get a text from you, and I hit it. And otherwise, it's later. I don't do that all the time, but oftentimes I'm up because you're sending me a text at 5:30. It's 3:30 my time. I'm clicking it. So and I don't set an alarm. I've always, even as a little kid, Probably drove my parents nuts, but I was always up at 4 a.m., right? Just ready, wide awake, ready to go. And so I was up early at this resort in Sonoma, um, and only one up. There was a restaurant in the bottom floor there, and so I was looking for coffee. I like to drink some Joe, and there was nothing was open, of course, and there was a guy. I don't know if he was a janitor or what he was, and but he worked back at the restaurant, and he was just getting things ready, and he could tell I was looking for coffee. He says, "Ah, come on in," and he had coffee made already, and he
Yeah,
goes,
yeah.
"Yeah, go on in there and sit down." So I went into there's this beautiful area you could look outside. It's all windows. Man, I think it was a golf course there too. I can't remember what we looked out to, but it was beautiful. And there was a lady with like a 1 year old, 2 year old little boy, and she was trying to feed him breakfast. And of course, I'm on the same level as a 1.5 year old, so I can relate. We were in a
That's fair.
oatmeal fight, and, and so it was. And she goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm at a wedding," and then it was a wedding with another surgeon was getting married, one of Marielle's friends, and she goes, anyway, she was just asking about what we want to do, where we're going, and she goes, "Well, you ought to consider coming to Corvallis." And I said, "Corvallis," and so she said, "Yeah." And she just happened to be on the board of the hospital there, so just connections. You never know. It's kind of part of what we want to talk about: is building networking connections. You be friendly. You get into oatmeal fights with 1.5 year olds, and you never know what happens, right? So
Yeah. Your whole
we
life
did
changes.
we did a grid and choosing our top 6 places that we wanted to go and for opportunities. And the we gridded them out, and as far as figuring out what was important to us, quality of life, traffic was one, beauty and different things, and we had our top 5, and we were all kind of tired of we could travel pretty easily, but we were kind of tired of traveling and COVID and everything else, and we flew our plane out, just to to the wedding. I can remember doing that, and then when we came out, I think we flew commercial. So anyway, I should say that and give up my incognito-ness, but bottom line, we almost didn't come. Just because we were tired, wiped out. Corvallis is probably not going to be our top place to go. And man, we came out in February, a little over 3 years ago, and it was rainy, cold, whatever. Stayed at the Marriott on the river downtown, and I think within 2 hours we realized this is where we want to come. It was so beautiful, so peaceful. The traffic, you feel like in Corvallis, and it may change because Austin changed, Dallas changed, right? So it may change, who knows? But I doubt it. In Austin, you hesitate on the speed on your gas pedal when the light turns green, and they're honking the horn, and they're probably going to road rage you, right? Maybe drive you off the road. That's Austin, and that's if they're friendly. In Corvallis, if you have the car and park at a green light, it doesn't make any. They may get out of the car and knock on your window and say, "How you doing today?" And then say, "Is everything okay?" It's like the pace of life is so peaceful here. It's incredible. And what's hilarious is, we find ourselves. We moved into a really nice area where there are trails and much bigger house than we needed, and we've moved from there since last June. We moved, or last end of May. We were there at the first spot for 3 years, and it was 8 minutes from the hospital. And I can remember, like, catching myself when there was I was getting a little annoyed with the traffic at 8 minutes, because
Yeah.
I hit two red lights instead of.
Ah, dang, yeah.
So human nature is horrific when it comes to being at peace with traffic. And so anyway, and then I'm gonna shut up here in a second. But golf. So I really never golfed. I golfed as a young man because I worked at a country club, bartending of all things, in college. When I first started school, and so. Um, But then went to school and always was in school. It seemed like, and never really golfed again. And I picked it up. I started golfing on Thursdays with a buddy later on in some grad school time frames, and had my first daughter, and I just couldn't justify the 4 hours being away and the expense at the time, and so I. Gave it up. And I was in my 20s then, right? Late 27 or something like that. And so I gave it up. And then right before we moved, we were in Austin, and my wife golfs, and Marielle golfs. And so I said, you know what, let's get fitted for clubs. And we got fitted for clubs. I didn't really golf that much. I never had a lesson. And I came out to Corvallis and decided on divide and conquer. I'm going to take up golf. And we talk about it. I'm a systems guy, and I started. And anyway, our golf segment of our show won't be this long. I'm gonna save the rest of the story for later. But to suffice it to say that I figured out a system of how to learn golf, narrowed down the best ways to do it, and then. Worked on a system because you get all kinds of information from different sources, and all of them have the special sauce, and it's crazy, right? And
Mhm.
it's an aggravating game, but it's a thinking game, and I love the thinking process of it. So I went from 115 when I came out to Corvallis to where I would break 90 every time. And so I'm in the 80s golfer, and so I know it can be done if I can do it. And so anyway, I would golf every day, rain or shine, and then I'm honestly just going through some health issues, and I had to stop, and it wasn't physical as far as back or something like that. But I had to give it up for a little bit, and I'm looking forward to getting back and doing it again. So, but that's my golf story, and and I'd always walk the courses. I have a push cart, and because I just love the exercise and sunrises, yeah, but out at the Corvallis Country Club, it's really narrow and high terrain, so I had to get better before I could golf there and feel comfortable about not hitting too many windows, and then um, and Twisting Tree, where the OSU plays Oregon State, is more wide open, and it's beautiful. I mean, rivers and trees and things, but it's more wide and flat. And so you got to be in good shape to walk the Corvallis Club. But that's my golf story. So your turn.
So what I took out of the big thing I took out of that story was if you suit up and show up to your own life, you never know you're going to meet and how that's going to translate later on to come around to build a system of how to play golf. But if Tim doesn't go in and get that cup of coffee and BS with the janitor and get in an oatmeal food fight way earlier in life before all that,
Yeah.
then we're not doing that. So it's just life is awesome.
We talk about, and this would be I'll write it down for next time. We talk about living in another dimension, right? And
Yeah.
that sounds pretty ethereal. And but the reality is, it's being that antenna and just saying yes to um, what the to do things that you may not otherwise do, but if you're listening and you're sensitive, you just do it, right? and you don't even
Right.
know what's happening. But I think it helps us to align when we use good character with it, but align with uh, with the Almighty, as I call Him, or whatever spiritually you want to address. We can talk about those details another time. We'll get into sex, religion, and what's the third
Rock
thing?
and roll.
Rock and roll. No, there's three things. Oh, politics. Three things in your.
Politics.
Uh, so
We're gonna get into all three. Trust
yeah.
me.
So,
That's who we are.
but the listening part. I mean, we can be driven and we run into walls, and or we can align, and it's amazing what happens. And I think that's part of the secrets of life, right? We can't force things. We have to engage, and you never know what windows or doors are open. In fact, oftentimes um, we would have no idea how things unfold if we had a plan and trying to figure it out and do it. It happens like that. Here, our lives were completely changed by a alleged chance meeting with a year-and-a-half-year old, and I think I lost the oatmeal fight too. So
But you won in life, brother. But you won in
so
life. I'll
but
tell you
that's
this, Tim. In the reality of my experience, for sure is I have every situation I've ever gone into. I've had an expected outcome in my head, whatever that might be. It's in my head. Doesn't mean I speak it out loud, but there's something up there that I'm
yeah,
hoping for, an
right,
expectation.
right.
I would have sold myself short over 48 years so many times. Just absolutely that is when you I start to look in the mirror, that could be a little bit of I don't know. Whatever. Maybe I don't think of myself or always give myself the amount of grace that I deserve.
Well, and that's critical too. As far as I'm not saying to go willy nilly and not have a plan. I think it's good to have
No,
an expectation, but raise your expectations, right? I mean, those
sometimes the finish line looks a little golder than what you had imagined.
yeah, just you have an expectation and then multiply it by 1,000 and don't sell yourself short, like you say. And part of that is taking responsibility. And we've talked about this before. It's not responsibility as I'm guilty and I'm sorry and I'm responsible. I'm not talking about that at all. The ability to respond, um, realize how powerful you are and the influence you can have, even above a president or whatever you think. You just put that expectation in your mind and go after it. It's amazing what happens, right?
There's
And
no greater governance in America than the nuclear family, than your home. You govern that home like the president of the United States.
mhm. And so the power of I love these segues, but it's really what the Knuckle Dragger University and the Man's Curator is all about. Because when you think of the power of a father and his words and beliefs into a daughter or into a son, it is there's nothing that matches that.
No.
When you instill a belief, when you instill an expectation for them that's higher without trying to push them to become a dentist or whatever. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about addressing fears, overcoming them, and then addressing possibilities and believing in them, and then not forcing them, but learning how to align and to listen spiritually to things and then to act upon them. It's huge. And, one of the things we talked about before, we'll put it on the list here, is what is it, because courage comes out.
Yeah.
When we can instill what does it mean to be brave and what is courage about, and we can instill that not only in our own lives but into our children's lives. It's about taking the appropriate risk, and the risk are doing the right thing. When all odds are against you, you do the right thing, and that's an ethereal statement, but man, when you're in business, there's so many opportunities to cut corners or to take
Mm.
shortcuts, and no one would know, but it affects your conscience, it affects your power, it affects your influence and your reputation.
Anxiety,
Yeah. So
putting your feet on the carpet in the mornings. You want to be able to do that correctly
yeah, yeah.
without hesitation.
Well, I think put your feet on the ground is even more important. Get rid of that
Gangster.
carpet. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, what's next?
Uh, what do you want to talk about next? I don't. You have some probably investing news. You probably have some
Yeah.
a
We're,
life lesson in there.
So, investing news, it's where the inauguration's coming up. And if you followed,
I wanted to talk about that too. So we'll stay, you talk and then, but let's stay on inauguration. I had some questions.
okay, so let's go with, let's create our simple little agenda. We already got our golf segment out of the way. So before we end tonight, maybe we end with a cigar or a beginning. Sometime, let's have a little cigar discussion. And to put a lid on this golf till next time. So when you talk golf, you're really talking about professional golf and watching it, right? You're not really talking about playing golf.
No,
So
they are, the guys are on the show. I'm not, I don't play. Adam plays every day. I mean, he plays on the web tour now. And
wow.
then he's the country club guy, the pro up here. And then Smitty, his partner, the high school basketball coach here, is one of the main caddies at Aaron Hills. So he's a teacher, and when he's not teaching, he's a caddy, and has been for 15 years. He knows that course. He really knows that course, and he'd be fun to go out and play. Adam, bring Adam. You come out, Adam, and Smitty and us go out and play. We'd have a good time at Aaron Hills.
Many years ago, I lived in Valencia, Newhall, California area, and before kiddos, and I was doing some schooling out there, and I had a buddy. His name was Eric Costa. Probably shouldn't mention names. You're doing it, so I haven't seen Eric in a long time. He was a lean, tall, married guy, great looking, but he was a super golfer, just scratch golfer, and he schooling always gets in the way of a good golf game. So one time he was like, okay, I want to qualify. There's a Pasadena tournament. I told you my extent of golf. I got to golf for free for a summer because I was working at the golf club as a bartender, right? And I would, wake up and go golf. Right? I just would golf and then get cleaned up. I played once or twice a day for all summer, when I was 18, right? So Wisconsin, that was Richland Center. And then we cleaned up and go in, and, it was a supper club bar. So I'd be bartending until, midnight when it wasn't opened up that late. And then go out or whatever and come back and wake up in the morning, start golfing at 10 o'clock every day for a summer. But other than that, I was, and it was all on my own. It wasn't on, I didn't have any lessons or anything. So Eric Costa was trying to qualify for a tournament, and he did. I mean, it was fascinating. He goes, hey, come caddy for me. We're required, I need a caddy. So I said, all right. And so I would act like I was reading putts or something for him just to be.
Hey, that's a fun gig, man.
Oh
Go
yeah,
walk. I dig it.
it was the Rose Bowl Pasadena golf course. There was one right out
Oh
there.
wow, yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Probably under fire now, but in any event, yeah, that was it. So I got your golf. We'll put a lid on that, but we got to get you out golfing again. And
Hey, real quick, the guys that I talked about earlier, you guys, everybody can check them out on Plus Money Golf. I'm in the background. I don't do it, but I produce it.
yeah,
That is a golf betting show. That'll start back up with the Masters and run all the way through the tournaments.
golf betting is
These guys are good at it too.
Yeah,
Adam knows those guys really well.
those
Like he
are
know he's good buddies with them.
cool. We'll have to have them on the show. I think we should start doing guests now that we got everything figured out.
And you're right. It's so goddamn mental. So you go listen to Plus Money Golf like that guy, and that's how what he's breaking down. He's breaking down where their heads are, and he's right a lot. Like he's not guessing the winner, but he'll hit your plus 150 on top 20s and top 10s all day just on headspace. He's like, oh, I watched them, and he just follows them so heavy, you know.
Yeah. Well, golf is a challenge because the rules are different. You know, when I started jumping in and, you know, I was working with Barnes, you know, as far as learning his methodology, and he didn't.
Does he play?
No, no.
No.
And
That surprises me.
yeah, I mean, if he does, I'm not aware of it. I don't think he does. No. And but he also doesn't bet it, right? So
No.
cricket did a little bit. But I started figuring it out and then realized you can get in trouble quick because if there are ties or something like that, you lose odds. And so it's kind of funky to figure out. But man, it draws you in. You start, anything you bet on, you start.
Hey, Tim, you'll appreciate this because Plus Money Golf was mine and I started it. So I got 3 years of spreadsheets of everything that we've done.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So I have data points now. Just that show because I had started it. It was like the first like gambling show that we did because we did Patriot Sports Radio and Plus Money Golf, and that was kind of what we did before all that other stuff. And
it's
I
still
kept
going. Plus
Oh
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus Money Golf, like yeah. So if you see Adam's clubs on the tour, it's Plus Money Golf. On the web tour, you'll see their podcast logos on the flags because Adam puts their sticker with the bar or the barcode,
Yeah.
and every clubhouse in America. If
That's
you walk
cool.
in there, Adam's anywhere in the region their podcast is on the bar deal. Yeah, like he pushes it. So and guys like it because they win and they're fun and they do. They break the course down really well. They're both really smart from a caddy and a player, and they have a lot of experience and a lot of pro courses. So it's a lot of fun. And I have fun just sitting in the background listening to them. But yes, I would love to go out and play. Adam asks me all the time. He is in Wisconsin. Lancaster, and Smitty's here, and they're all the time like, why don't we just go golfing? And I just never do. They do. Now they just built one of those big screen deals, you know, where you can go play right here in Hartford. It's gonna open up in a month. I'm sure we'll go there. I do this summer. We do need to get out and play. There's so many beautiful courses out here too. Just like Oregon, California, Wisconsin. It's just it's a narrow season, right? Not like California's much better season. Vegas.
So I am actually my studio right now because I'm in my smoking called my garage.
Right.
I'm sitting on a turf green.
You're putting.
You know, this is not for putting. I have another one for putting, but this one's for driving or anything. You know, it's 5x5, and so I have a big screen at where we moved from. I had a cigar tent. I think I showed you pictures of that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And where it was all, you know, I had it all set up. Any golf course in the world almost you could golf. It was incredible. And then games and different things. And then flight scope or whatever so you can analyze your swing and whatever. So, and I've set it up out back, but I just don't have I haven't taken the time to get it all done in the room that I had because I had the whole tent. My tent is too big for here. I just figured, well, I got to get another place and go. But yes, that's fun. All right, so we were launching into. Let's talk a little bit about it, making money. So, and what's happening? I've kind of, for whatever reason, I mean, I invest in different things from businesses to some commodities, options, futures, stock, ventures, you know, technology, different things, and I had someone that was kind of interested, a client in crypto, and I invested in Bitcoin years ago, 2016 timeframe where it kind of was just starting out or whatever. Jumped in it for a little bit, did okay, and then got out. I never really understood, right? So then I jumped in really to try to understand it a year ago, basically about this time, and again found the best of the best, and then developed systems so I wasn't emotional about the market. When we look at gambling, you can be the first one to tell us about this, Chris. Is that you can get so emotional, you know,
Yeah.
and then you follow bad bets with more bad bets because you're trying to make up for the bad bet.
I
And
can tell you this, the book is praying to God. You'll get emotional. They make it emotional. Everything makes it emotional. Every sense, everything you feel is all emotion. They're begging you to be emotional.
yeah, and that ruins you. You lose money to do.
Yes.
So what I did was developed a process, and I, and I work on it still every day. I work on tweaking it to improve it and evaluating what it's shown me in the past. And these are systems that have signals that determine probability. And this, I really got this from Barnes, who doesn't do, I mean, investing at all. Like, I'm doing it in crypto. I mean, he probably believes it. But
Same rules apply.
same rules apply. He's not emotional about. He's not. He doesn't have a favorite team and he get there or make a bad bet and then have to during the game make three more bets to try to make up for that bet.
It's
He uses
mathematical.
yeah he uses probability, and um, I liked his approach. I learned a lot from him. I don't really bet sports. I do a little bit of politics like what he does, but I don't bet sports anymore. I did it for a couple years just to learn, and more power to people. This community right here, there a lot of people love betting on sports, right? And but I find that I I can have a lot less risk, a lot more profits by betting on other things and instead of chance. And um, I like to bet on things that are asymmetrical, right? They have a lot of upside, little risks downside. And when you find those, and they don't pop up every day, but when you find them, you take them. And so, real quick with that, again, we talk about I'm going to post a spreadsheet that we can just keep updating. We figure out a way to do that to anybody that's interested so they can see what our choices are and have been. And you can probably just vouch for me for now until I get that. I'll have someone just do it. Just they can go back and look at all my orders, and then they also can and look at and that's proof in the pudding. But it also you can look at my post. I just have to organize them, saying what I did when I did it, and so um, we've done real well. I started becoming very active in public in July, beginning of July, posting what I was investing in,
I'll
and
have a system by this weekend too. It will be systematic. It will be clockwork pretty soon.
excellent.
I would guess by Tuesday, next Tuesday. Let me. We'll have to train to do it, but
So,
yeah.
a while back, I don't know how long ago, I just, I would get in Bitcoin, Solana, some Ethereum, a little bit of SUI, and different. I'd switch them as far as which would dominate, which wouldn't dominate, and um, probably well, I, and again, I hate talking about money and personal stuff. I won't give any of that info away, but I can tell you for sure that since we've known each other, Chris, only in the investments that I talked to you about, I think I have doubled my money twice since knowing
Holy shit.
you, and that's since July. No, I knew you longer than that, but when
Mhm.
I started,
Well, that's since we really started like deeply talking.
right, And
So
so,
yeah, I go ahead. Sorry,
well, my
I don't want to
point
rabbit hole
is
this.
so that, like, I jumped in, when I say this, I jumped in at 48, 49 to 54,000 around July 4th. And then I did some other things with Solana, and they went up. And, again, we talk about this. I don't want to talk about it every time, but we talk about it. But I'm planting the seeds to say that anybody can do this. And I'm not offering advice, but I will share with what we're doing. And so, and it's trend investing. It's not day trading. It's trend investing. So I don't care about what it's done. Some investors who I really highly respect, the price is too high, I'm not getting in. And that's a terrible mentality to have. It doesn't make a difference how high the price is on a stock. It makes a difference on price to earnings, and we talk about that, and value. But what's the biggest driver is what is it going to do, and what's the probability that it's going to do it. I don't
If it's
care.
going to go up 5%, why don't you just take your gain? Take your
Yeah.
W.
So many really wise, smart investors, they'll say, no, I don't invest in all-time highs. And I'll say, I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care if it's all-time high. If it's going to go all-time higher, I'm investing, right? Don't care. And and that gets into what we talk about emotional betting and gambling, because sometimes you feel like you feel what happened yesterday and we are lost, that you have to make up for it today, and that's terrible, right? And it's the same way. I mean, it's just you have to have good systems, and so that's what I teach is building good systems, and it takes some. Nothing comes easy, right? You got it, but we got to do it. That's part of manning up and doing those things no one else wants to do, and we do them, but we get rewarded for it, and so when people say, well, yeah, and then Bitcoin went up to 108, so you doubled your money. How did you say you doubled it twice? Well, because I just didn't put it in and then watch it double. I put it in, and I would take out gains, so I had gains along the way when it rose. I wouldn't take it all out, and but when the signals would tell me that I was going to dip, then I would sell, and then I buy the dip, and then it'd go back up. And so I kept buying dips and rising, and not because I'm a genius or I have this great intuition or I'm predicting anything. I don't predict a thing. What I look at is probability. And so then I thought, and the signals were showing get out, so I got out. Everything, all of them. I got out of Ethereum earlier and made money on it. Solana went up. It went from I don't remember. It was like $1.48 to $3.48 or something. I have to look it up. Went up, but I got out, and and the signals were saying, well, they're unstable. And I look at things like, well, how many people are on the sidelines ready to buy, and above that, how many are ready to sell if it hits a certain price, and then looking at liquidity and different factors in the market, global market, what the Fed's doing, different things like that. And you can kind of say, well, the probability is it's going to do this. And I just try to prove this. So I publish things, I just put it out there. I said, okay, I'm out of Bitcoin, and then I'm taking a cash position. And then the other day, it was like yesterday, the day before, whatever. I don't remember, but I said, okay, I'm buying the dip. So buy the dip. I'm back into Bitcoin. I'm buying the dip. And sure enough, I think I bought a little, and just a small percentage, just like 2% of my total what I
Just like
have.
betting.
Yeah, investment capital. Sometimes I play a lot more, but that's when
5% bets.
I'm waiting, because I'll put a lot more in soon. But right now, the market's very volatile. But I could tell that it was going to go for a dip and then a short hike, and then it clears all these wannabes out, and then it drops again and goes back up. Well, I thought, oh man, the signals are showing it's going to dip. So I'm getting ready to go back in, went back in, and then I went really back in at, you can see the numbers when I did. I posted them before I did it. I said, okay, I'm buying right now, and posted it. And I think I bought at 90,000 and some change Bitcoin. And then I said, okay, I think it's going to go up to 97 based on not predicting, just probability. And if it goes up to 97, I'm selling. And sure enough, it went up to 97.3, hit 97. I sold, made 7% 1 day's time.
Huge gains. Huge gains.
Well, yeah, what's 7%?
7% ROI is ridiculous.
If you multiply it times 30, that gives you a monthly ROI.
210.
Yeah. It's 210%. You multiply that times 12. What do you got? And
Jesus effing Christ, a hard on probably.
If you start, and the realistic, you're not going to do that every day. You got to find those opportunities. But if you just do it, I mean, those opportunities are there every day, and it's getting good signals to do that. So anyway, you pocket 7%. If you have $100,000, you made $7,000. And so you say, well, I don't have $100,000. All right, I don't have $100,000 to risk. But you realize if you had $100,000 to risk, it's a lot easier to risk $100,000 because if you lose 7%, you lose it. But you still got $93,000, right? And so, but if you have $100 and you lose 7%, it hurts more because you can't see. It's hard to take risk when you're just living paycheck to paycheck. But it doesn't make any difference if you have $100,000. Great, and if you don't get it, well, come on, Tim, be realistic. Well, $10,000. Well, be realistic. $5,000, $1,000, $100. So the mentality is to make money today. And if you make $7 on $100, now you got 107. Now, if you make 7% on 107, it bumps up, and you wait for the next opportunity. You just keep bumping it until you get 1,000. And so every dollar you make when you're not working at a wage salary job, it's just, that's
gravy.
It's paradise, man. And so what the goal is, I think I want to instill in all of us to be, that's something, these gamblers get talking about their gambling and their role. That's cool. I'll tell you what's really cool is your investment when you can talk and challenge each other. Yeah, this is cool. This is what we're doing. This is what we're making. And we keep building it and building it. And my goal in my mind that I like to instill in others, children or whatever, is double your money. Just figure out a way to double your money. And how long does it take you to double your money? And an 18% return doubles your money about every 4 years. When a good investment strategy, you want to double your money every 3 to 5 years in a business or whatever. Well, I've far exceeded that on a consistent basis and with good systems and everything you look at. So I would just say it doesn't make a difference if you have $100. Just take $100, put it aside, or $50 or $10. You be investing and trying to double that. And remember, and when you get a double, celebrate, right? And we just keep going, and that's how we change things. So anyway, that's I think the market is on crypto. It's very volatile right now, so I'm out again, and I don't know what looking for somewhere. I've got a phone around here, but we could look at the price. Here's price at Bitcoin right now. I'm going to check it out. Excuse me, on our
96,755.
96,755. So it's back up. It took its dip, and it's back up to about 90. It'll be 97, whatever, and it cleaned things out. I think it's, I think right now it's going to go up and down and kind of stagnant until inauguration, and we'll update day to day. But if the signals are right, and I think they're coming, inauguration is going to be a boom. Election day was a boom, big time, and so barring that they don't try to kill him again. We'll watch and see, but we're looking at some good liquidity coming in February. So I'm bullish on Bitcoin. Right now, if you're squeamish, be careful because it's going to go up and down. So if you want to play long term, I think it's okay for me. I would be fine, but I'm waiting. I'm not looking at the little deals up and down. Like I just did that yesterday or today, whatever it was, just to show it's very doable. You can probability figure out and make your 5 to 10% and get out. Make 5-10%, get out. Keep doing that. You'll make a good return over a year's time. You'll beat the market. You know what you get. Go to the bank. What are you getting? 3% on a CD right now. So, you know, a lot less risk. Markets are volatile right now. You know, China's in trouble. Europe's in trouble. And there's lots of unknowns. This thing, Trump's. You know, a lot of people are very optimistic, but there are some things that are not so optimistic about Trump. You know, he continues to surround himself by swamp rats like he did last time. It's not going to be good. And he's doing some good things, and he's got some better people, but he still got some yahoos in there that are globalist people that hate our country that he's in bed with, and that sucks. You know, we have to deal with his piece of crap Supreme Court picks. I mean, he picked a good one with Gorsuch, but that was it. Kavanaugh, we don't need pussies, and we don't need sellouts like Barrett. She's a sellout, and we knew that before he picked her, and we told him not to pick her, and he did anyway. And he refuses to learn and to listen. So I'm. Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-Trump. He's just. Sometimes he can be a real shithead, and so you wonder what's he really doing. You know, this bringing this Crowley guy in, John Crowley, just a piece of crap, and you know, a big sellout vaccine killer guy, right? So when he does that, it's like a slap in their face. And Trump, and so you know, I don't know if you follow the Brooks Jackson case. We ought to get her more notoriety. That lady is, talk about courage and being brave. Man, she could teach us all about how to be real men. That lady was a Pfizer whistleblower, and they put her through hell. And she's, you know, she's got some stash to her, right?
She got some moxie.
She does, and in any event, I feel for her when Trump gets in bed with a John Crowley, and I think the way we hold Trump accountable is raise the flag when he does it. That's why Barnes was great about why he loved RFK Jr. And it's because not because you believe in all of his beliefs and policies, you know, but it's because he resonates on so many issues that holds Trump accountable. That's why we need him in there, you know, because otherwise Trump pushes this warp speed vaccine nonsense, and he knows better, and he gets surrounded by these corporate crony crap artists that are, you know, whether it's military complex, industrial complex, or big pharma or whatever, and they ruin our country. They just ruin it, and they ruin the world. And so I don't mind him learning from people and meeting with anybody. I mean, I don't knock that. I think it's great they met with the North
Conversations.
Yeah, but man, you're slapping people in the face when you don't come out with the truth about these vaccines. It's evident. Cancer's on the rise exponentially, right? So anyway, get out the soapbox. I don't know what got on there. The market's crazy. I think Trump's going to do some cool things. I'm going to get back in when the signals arrive. Make some money. Let's make some money together.
Yeah.
No advice. I'm just sharing what we're doing, right?
If
All
the
right.
when the economy's shit, that money's going somewhere. You can still invest.
Oh yeah, and so one of the things about that's cool about Bitcoin is that you can tell I'm talking too much because my cigar keeps going out. Now, what's the problem with that? One of the big things about a shaky economy is that Bitcoin and gold and different things like that become a place of security, and so we can talk about that too another time. But I think the turmoil is coming. Unemployment is terrible, production is terrible, the dollar's high, and that has its own set of problems. Trump's talking about tariffs. Um, I love to get rid of the tax system. That's cool, but tariffs can be good or bad, and predominantly they're bad. I heard a guy talk today that I really respect talking about tariffs, and I don't know if I believe him or not. I mean, I believe that he believes it's true, and he's a pretty integrity guy. But he was talking about how corrupt the government was when we didn't have an income tax and we had tariffs. And that's not the history that I'm aware of. I'm sure there was corruption, but I'm aware of the tariffs that caused a civil war. When the North was trying to blockade the South from trading overseas, that created some issues. And so I have to go back in my history to see if I really believe what he was saying about. He's a pretty anti-tariff guy, and I agree with him on a lot. His name's George Gannon. I like George. I agree with him on. There's no free lunch. You tax a tariff. You put a tariff on something, it's going to cost more for us one way or the other. I mean, the citizen. We tariff China, for example. I think it's good to have an even playing field, but it doesn't necessarily mean, okay, then we're going to produce it here at a cheaper
Yeah.
price, and it's going to be good for America, right? I mean, that's a little simplistic thinking that I don't know if that's actually. China's gotten big because we wanted cheap goods, period, right?
Yes. Ha. Yeah. Yep. And now we have Timu. So,
Yeah. Okay,
all right.
the
You
ball's
ready?
back in your court.
You want to what? How much song you want to go to? You want to go another subject? I don't
Uh,
have anything else. Do you
no,
have anything?
let's go to midnight, man. I don't I don't care. Yeah, let's make sure I hit the real quick. And when I say real quick, you should run because that means it's probably gonna be another hour. You know me, so I wanted to talk a little bit about intention and motives, and kind of like in the context of business partners, right? So people, they look at success, and if you've had success doing something, you're going to believe in it. So take that all with a grain of salt. Someone has a great business partner and they're wildly successful, then they're going to believe in partnerships, right? I don't. And so then you ask, well, have you had bad experience with partnerships? Yeah. But if I was unbiased, I still wouldn't believe in partnerships. And I want to put this in the context of, well, how does that have to do with intentions? And what are you talking about, intentions versus motives? And um, so first, let's define partnerships real quick. So often people talk in business and they say, oh, we should start this company. And they start a company and you hear the horror stories, of how people get hurt and ripped off and stolen. You look at Mark Zuckerberg, who talks about Facebook and the partnership they allegedly have in college, let alone that this was a CIA government set up business and they chose the winner and the losers. But apart from that, we got this Facebook movie story about a partnership gone awry. And these stories are over and over, and most of them are true, where most partnerships don't end well. And The reason is because people get into partnerships for the wrong reason. So I want to lay a field out here, and so ultimately, Chris, I want to envision to have like a locals board where we, like Barnes does, where we set up where people can ask questions ahead of the show, and we just go through and we answer those questions. And so we're laying these things. If anybody sees these shows in the future, they can bring up questions in the future, and it will we'll have a place for them to write out their questions. And because there's always clarifications and misunderstandings, and when I say something without a lot of context, you can misinterpret it. But well, by and
So what
large,
you're saying is that you have a good underlying reason for doing that, and
yeah.
not just you don't just have a conscious plan, but you have an underlying reason that matters.
So often people get into a partnership because they feel like they need someone or something that someone has
With good intentions.
with good intentions. Good segue.
Ooh,
So you never want to get into a partnership, and you never should say never. Well, I'm saying never. Never get into a partnership because you need something.
yeah.
Get into a partnership, just like marriage. Get into a partnership when you want somebody else's reputation, especially if they go rob banks and traffic children.
Right.
If you're okay with whatever they create or the reputation, then you get into a partnership with them. That's the one reason. Basically, a partnership is I'm saying I'm going to get in a foxhole with you, and we're going to be back to back, and I will do whatever it takes, including dying, to cover your back and to save your soul. No matter what, no matter if you're a cocaine addict, drug pushing leech, that's when you want to get into a partnership, is when you say, I'm going to take care of you no matter what. And if that's what you want, then get into a partnership. And if that's not it, then don't. You can do everything a partnership provides except having all the downside via a contract or agreement that you can get in and out of when you need to, based on when it's time to do that. And it just saves so much trouble, right? When you form an entity as a partnership, you're signing up to be in a foxhole with somebody for life no matter what they do. And don't. So, finishing that, and we can go whenever you want to go, but let's talk about intentions in this context versus motives. And I'm not talking about you should have the, set intentions like we were talking earlier in the show about your mental approach and thought process. Be thinking of great expectations, have great expectations, because that will impact your life. What we can talk about this another time, but the concepts of this perceptions are, we think that we're making observations. We're not. We're interpreting, and those what we interpret, those perceptions are actually choices, and those choices become beliefs that actually become true. And we can talk about that another time. But that is reality, and so this is the power of this other dimensional living. The importance of setting and choosing your perceptions in a great expectation way. So
Yes.
when I'm put in the little headline, I don't know if you saw this, about some of the agenda items for today, of get rid of people with good intentions. Don't have them in your life. They will destroy you. And the reason is because there are people that jump out of the foxhole when times are tough and their intentions are getting challenged. And so those intentions, which were used to pave the road to hell that they're taking you to, um, they go out the window, right? I have good intentions. I'm going to take care of you. Well, but I got to stand in the cold water to do that. I'm going into the living room. I'll see you later. And you turn around and the bad guy's coming, and you're thinking you're covered, and you're not. And that's what happens. And so I think it's vital in the success of life and everything that the Knuckle Dragger University is to be about and how to be successful is to look in the mirror and ask yourself what your motives are. And you know who's really good about this again is Robert Barnes. I, I developed this thought from some of the seeds that he planted about um, when you can find out somebody's motives, it makes a huge difference of how you perceive them and how you should proceed. And then he also put right with that, and I add to it, is check your own motives too. So first, check your motives. What motivates you? What is your motive in any situation? And if it's not good, change it. And this reveals nature and true character. And when you can, and it's good to ask yourself, what is another person's motives? Why are they doing this? And I can go into situations if somebody wants something from you, they can pitch you on what you want to hear with good intentions, but their motive is to extract something from you, then watch out because they're going to focus on extracting from you and they'll justify anything they want what to mislead you whatever to extract what they want because that's their motive. And if their motive is really to help you to cover your back and then to make you successful, that'll reveal itself in tough times and they will stick to it. Motives are when you find somebody's motive, when you know what your motive is, they don't go away unless you cognitively choose to change something, and typically for the better. But intentions, man, if the wind changes, they're gone, right? I no, I'll do. People say all kinds of stuff, and they mean it with great intentions,
With great intention.
but
In the moment.
realize you're on the road to hell because that's what it's paved with is those good intentions. So if someone has good intentions, don't don't have those people in your life, and it'll save you from nightmare after nightmare after nightmare. And but when you find someone with good motives, man, run with them. You'll conquer life. And now, talk about loyalty. You don't want to be loyal to a man, and that can sound controversial. It's not like, no, my loyalty is even stronger because of that belief, because I'm loyal to truth. And you separate yourself from truth, then I'm separating myself from you. Right now, I'm going to challenge you to get back on the path of truth, but I'm loyal to truth, and that's why I have to check my motives because I can be deceived, all kinds of crap. But if I really look at my motives, why I'm doing what I'm doing, then that reveals my character. And I want to always improve my character.
Yes.
My intentions, uh, I got good intentions today, but they may go away tomorrow. But my motives, they don't go away tomorrow. They stay there. I'm in the cold water covering your back. Right? So that's all I got.
All right.
What
Good
did you want
evening,
to say about
everybody.
the
Huh?
inauguration? Did you want to say something about the inauguration?
Well, I thought that I saw that they had dispatched from HHS a lot of trauma nurses and stuff way over there. A whistleblower had said it was much more than they've ever seen. And I
Yeah,
thought that was odd.
I heard that too. I heard that
Okay. I'm not the only one.
too. So, and I sent you a post about something. I can't remember what the topic was.
JFK.
Oh yeah, and
Look, I'm like 45 minutes into that. Don't spoil it. It's
yeah,
good.
there's a lot
There's a
there.
lot to intake. I mean, you got to ingest it, right? There's a
That's
pause here and there where I got to be like, what the fuck did he just say?
uh, there's some interesting ties to Austin too on a murder on a little chip and putt golf course that's tied to the assassination of JFK.
Isn't, hey, isn't Elon owning X so much cooler?
Yeah,
So
there's
much cooler.
ties to Elon Musk and X that goes way back to the space deal uh, in the Kennedy administration that got Kennedy in trouble. And it is so fascinating. Even that goes back to Tesla and Donald Trump's uncle, who the FBI asked to go in and to get Tesla's papers. You know, it's all fascinating connections that, again, are hard to believe in snippets, but when you see the big pictures, like it's hard not to say, wow,
Yeah, yeah,
let's do this. And yeah, old Lyndon, who was all about himself and certainly was set up with the CIA and different things to take out Kennedy. There's no doubt. He even talked about it the night before out at a party, you know, with his cronies. That wait, I can't wait till tomorrow when we get rid of Kennedy. You know, and these things are, you know, they're not refutable. They're irrefutable. So it goes deeper than Lyndon, but he certainly was a kingpin, right? He ordered it.
right.
So another day, right?
Yep. All right, everybody. We'll holler at you. See you
Okay.
next Tuesday.
Thanks, guys. Take care, everybody.